I'm Rob, this is my wife Ellen. We purchased the house on Vancouver Island a year ago and started to look for a renovation company to help us transform it into what we really wanted. We Google searched, came across several names, reached out to 2 or 3, and met Joey and Smith & Sons through that process.
The process for renovating the house, we had come in and the owners had done a DIY reno in here and it wasn't gonna work for us. So Joey was very amenable to coming in and listening to what we wanted out of the house. I think he was great about helping us to figure out how to maximize the space, and he was very good about listening to what we wanted at the end of the day.
So when we had been looking at it with the realtor, it started at that point that we were looking at leaving the primary bedroom in their world as our guest room, collapsing the other 2 bedrooms, making a master ensuite with a walk-in closet and relocated washer dryers, closing off and gutting out the existing bathroom to make our own ensuite bathroom that we wanted, and then coming out to refresh the whole kitchen area and get it the way we wanted. And then we had a carport that was part of the project as well. We didn't have enough space in the house, so we wanted to close in the carport to look like a garage, but it actually is. The front half is my wife's art gallery, and the back half is my office, man cave, whatever space. So we got an extra 400 square feet of footprint by doing that, which made the house much more useful for us.
And we actually met with Joey and with another company in the house, and I knew immediately upon meeting Joey that he was the one I preferred out of the 2 companies. And because I planned to be very hands-on in the design end, and because Rob was going to be very hands-on with the numbers, we had to like him right from the beginning, because it's a long relationship. It is a very intimate relationship. He's in your home every single day, so we knew we needed to like him for that process.
He was going to develop a quote, fixed price quote, that would encompass everything we had asked for, and then we'd go through a process of adding or eliminating depending on what we were thinking. And at the end, when we signed off, we knew that was the number. Of course, there was changes in the project, so they had a formal change order process that allowed us to agree that for another $1,000 or whatever, we were going to do certain things. So it was a little frustrating at the start because it's a big number and you're trying to make sure you understand what all is included in it. But at the end, I mean, when we signed up, we knew what the price was going to be, and that's what it ended up being.
Yeah. Well, the fixed price was a very good thing from my perspective, because we weren't going to have a bunch of surprises. The fact that there is a process in place, if we make changes and we understand for the most part what those changes are going to cost, I think that was really good. The other firm that we had talked to, I mean, they never did give us numbers whether they could get what we wanted in the budget that we had, whereas Joey was a lot more above board and was very good about explaining what we could and may not be able to do within the constraints of our budget. And I think the other 2 guys that we spoke to probably were not as open about that.
There is a leap of faith in the process here, because the first step is a $5,000 deposit for that design step where all the prices are firmed up. So we went through a bit of a change curve during that, because we put the $5,000 down and the original detailed pricing coming back was beyond what we wanted to spend. So we had to go back and forth a little bit and change the scope to make it work. But retrospectively, the $5,000 was worth spending up front, because otherwise we would have been dealing with that on a fluid basis, and it probably would have led to some cardiac issues for me.
The other thing that was good about it was that once we had paid that $5,000 deposit, we had questioned Joey, like, well, okay, so you've done this design for us. We paid the deposit. Who does that design belong to? And the fact that it was ours, had we chosen to go with somebody else at that point, we got value out of the deposit. Well, I think when we drove into this property, Rob had decided he was going to buy it before we even walked in the house, and we opened the door and I went, oh God, I cannot live here the way it is. So clearly we've made it our home, and it's a great place to be. I think it fits us very well. We've got a 100-pound dog and 2 cats and us in this house, and it works. The house is much lighter and brighter than it was. I mean, I think we put in 40 pot lights in here because there is no way I could have lived in the house dark. The way it was before. Yeah. Every wall was painted dark gray, and there was hardly any lighting, and the skylights were cedar, so it was pretty oppressive in here. As you can see, it's not so much anymore. So I think Joey helped us realize the vision that we had for the property. Joey is very open to listening to what his clients want. And when we had changes that, I would have liked some things done differently, he was very good at making sure that I got something I could live with, even if we couldn't do what I absolutely wanted. There were a few things like positioning items in our ensuite bathroom. He came up with some really great ideas for how we could pack everything we wanted into the space we had. Would I recommend him to other people going through the process? Absolutely, I would. He was easy to work with.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, what would you encourage people to do is meet him in person and start talking about your project on location.
Yep.
And make sure you suss out whether you're going to get to where you want to be. And he'll tell you yes or no.
He was very flexible about the process. Had he come in with very rigid ideas and the inability to make on-the-fly changes, I think that would have turned me off. But working with him, I really enjoyed the process, and I've seen the guys out at the mall every now and again, and it's always a very warm meeting when I see them. The fact is that they helped us take a place that was not going to work for our needs and make it into a place that we're very happy to spend time in. I've got a huge family, and we've had a number of people in here. We've had gatherings of our neighbors already. It's a place that we're happy to be in. So I think they did a great job of making our house a home for us.